Yep, ready?
Ah, fuck. Hold on. Let's try it again. I think I fucked up. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the long-awaited podcast. Of course, with my boy DPHD. How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Fun thing is, guys, I know I said that we would upload it tonight, and it still might go out tonight, but as of right now, it is currently an hour after I reached 8,000 followers, so I'd just like to thank you all for that. And the thing with that is the support still overwhelms me at times, because I don't... Like, you gotta understand, I do this because I love what I do, and I have this passion and dedication towards this. And also because I'm really happy with how Twitter is as a platform. But the support that I get, just the small DMs that I get from time to time, the comments, is just amazing, man. Like,
yeah, man. It's first of all, I'm really proud of you. It's just great to see you just do your thing, and you're just so motivated and consistent, and it just not only pushes me, but it's just like a positive impact on Barca Twitter, so it's great, man, and you deserve it.
Thank you, man. Seriously appreciate that. Like, that's the thing too, right? Like, with Barca Twitter, it's so negative for the most part. Like, obviously now it's starting to get a little bit more positive, but it's a negative place per se, and to kind of create a small positive community the way I have, and kind of keep that positive energy spreading throughout those things is something that I feel like I bring to the platform, which to an extent wasn't there as much, you know, and also try to kind of remove that cockiness that is around some of the big accounts, where it's like, oh, you don't have this follower count, well, I'm not gonna fucking talk to you, you know. It's just like, calm down, man, you know.
Yeah, literally. I've always thought that from the start, you know. And we even talked about that on my podcast, our podcast on my channel,
yeah.
Which was, you know, all that interaction is so important, and you just display it well. So,
Thank you, man. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I feel like where I started was with all these, like, interacting with all these people, and kind of like replying to every comment I get, being as genuine as I am in real life. I want to kind of portray that on Twitter as well. And I feel like that's what's brought me here, is the fact that I just, you know, I'm just myself, and I'm not arrogant or cocky towards people because they have a smaller amount of followers than me, or they don't get as many replies or as many likes on a tweet or whatever. I feel like that's the most baseless argument you can have in a conversation, is like, hey man, you don't even get like 3 likes on your tweet. It's like, shut up. Like, why does that invalidate the point? And it just
literally 100%.
It really,
I agree. And yeah, go ahead.
No, it just pisses me off, man. Like, I see all these people, like, you know, arguing, firing shots at each other, and it's like, and one guy goes, hey man, you don't even get like 5 likes on your tweet. And it's like, why the fuck does that matter? Like, he's genuinely giving you better arguments for whatever he's saying than you are. And you're out here just hitting him with like, oh, you can't get 5 likes on a tweet. So what? Like, why does that matter?
It's actually so dumb. Like, you guys won't know this, but literally before we started recording, Omar was talking about an account with 4 followers, 5 followers.
Yeah. And
he was like, you know what, I'm gonna hit him a follow just because he's a nice guy. And that's the way, like, people should be thinking. It's good, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, you know, I feel like, and that's the thing too. Like, I try, if someone hits me up with like 1 follower, I'm not gonna prioritize his DM or his reply any less. And that's also a thing that I feel like makes me stand out, is because I always reply to whatever is thrown my way. I always, if something happens and if I tweet something out that's wrong, or I get something off, like, let's say I get a letter off or whatever. That's a fun thing, because Opinionista actually tweeted about that, and he's like, when Omar gets a typo, I'll just send it to you. It's fucking hilarious, man.
Sure, man. I'd like to see that.
It made me laugh so hard. I'm gonna put that in the
in the video.
I'm gonna put that in the video.
That is. Oh, wait, let me see.
The worst thing is it's so true too, because I'm such a perfectionist with what I do.
Yeah, no, that is exactly you, man. You're such a perfectionist. But it's a compliment in a way, like.
Yeah, like.
For one misspell thing, nah, that is so funny, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you know Omar, you know, even by the website, you know, he was asking his close friends, and he just wants everything to be perfect so that you guys get the best experience. So. Yeah, man.
That's also why that's why sometimes I'll be like, hey guys, I'll post a video in this and this amount of days, and it's like, it's not happening because I want it to be really good. Like my next video after this, if everything goes according to plan, is going to be a collaboration with Henrik Lehmann. You might know that that's gonna happen if you saw the retweets and the teasing tweets I made earlier. But that is actually going to happen, and the reason that I've been postponing it is because I don't just want to rush a collaboration with him, because I genuinely admire and respect the work that he puts in. He's a really, really nice guy. I can tell you that firsthand, and I feel like I want to do that collaboration justice. You know, I don't just want to do some half-assed video just to kind of be like, hey, I did a collaboration with him, or with anyone for that matter. That's also why these podcasts sometimes will postpone them, because we don't really. Like, it'll be, like, right now, it's fucking 11:55 p.m. my time, 10:55 p.m. your time, and it's like, sometimes we won't have the same energy that we do right now, and we won't really want to record the podcast because we want to make it as good as possible. You know, that's also stuff with, like, my website, the articles and stuff that sometimes I don't do instantly, because I want to make sure I get them right. And that's also why I might not be the fastest source for news sometimes, but that's also because those big news are things I don't want to get wrong, because I want you guys to see me as a reliable source as possible. And that's why that takes time. You can't rush quality. You just can't.
100%.
And I think you can.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you're a big testament to that as well, with your very high quality compilations and videos. Like, that takes time, man.
Thank you, man. And yeah, thanks, man. That means a lot. And also, yeah, like, people that know me and follow my tweets as well, they'd know that I think I took down my last 3 videos because I wasn't happy with the quality.
Yeah,
and it's just a thing of, if you get into a habit of just putting out whatever you think's gonna work, then you won't be happy with your work. You'll start getting sluggish with it. So I just wanted to put out, you know, the best quality content that I could, and I don't really want to sacrifice any type of quality.
Yeah, man, I see you. You know, that's where I feel like we kind of stand out amongst the crowd. You know, because that's the thing too. Like, I see so many. I'm not gonna take any shots at anyone in particular, but I see so many pages. Not just Barca, just in general, where it's like you can clearly see they just rush it out. They want to be first to report this, or they want to be first to talk about this thing that happened in the game, and you can so clearly see it's rushed. You know, they'll get this very obvious typo, or they'll quote the source wrong, or they'll mistranslate whatever, or stuff like that, and it's like that's not right. You know, it's not about being first to something. Because if you're first to something and you don't do it well, like, there's just no reason to do it at all. You know?
Definitely.
I
mean, with what we're doing and the content we're putting out, it has to be quality over quantity.
Definitely, man. And that's why, honestly, like, part of me, and I remember I tweeted this a while back, and I got so much fucking support, and it actually surprised me. Because I was feeling bad that I wasn't posting videos and articles on the website. I don't know. I think I DM'd you that tweet, and we talked about it. Yeah, and it's like the support that I get on that also shows me that you guys appreciate that I don't just want to push out stuff just to push it out. You know, yeah. That's why I don't actually like. Part of me was kind of annoyed over myself that we hadn't done this podcast yet. But at the same time, you know, if we want to make it the way we actually want it to be, I feel like it's fair that we take time to do it, you know, because in the end, we want you guys to enjoy it as much as possible. And that's the end goal, I feel like.
100%. I mean, if, for example, if one of us is ill or our voice is off, you know, we're not going to be the first to record it just because. And bearing in mind, me and Omar are so excited about filming these. Like, if you'd seen our DMs and messages and even our tweets, we're so hyped about it, but we just don't want to risk any quality or let people down because, you know, we care and people realize.
Yeah.
Like, if you're fake about it and you're just doing it just for your own reasons, people realize, people are smart, and so
definitely, man, definitely. So speaking of you guys' support and care into these podcasts, on March 7th, we posted that we were going to record the podcast this weekend.
It's not March 7th.
It is not March 7th anymore.
It is a bit later than that.
It's just a bit late,
just
you know.
Just a bit.
My clock just said March 25th, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So, we figured that the best way to pay you guys back, and also because we genuinely enjoy these and genuinely enjoy the questions, is to actually just go through these questions and answer the questions, and hopefully through these questions we'll drift off and kind of talk about different things. So,
yes.
First question by Sandeep. I really appreciate your support because he's been with me. He's one of my day one followers, and yeah, I appreciate that. So, if Valverde wins the treble, will he be better than Lucho? Do you want to start or should I go?
Sure, I'll start.
All right.
Simply yes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say yes is because you have to bear in mind that Lucha had MSN, right? And people, that arguably, and for me definitely, is the best front three in the world. Of course, midfield matters, defense and, you know, goalie matters, of course, but still, that creativity and the way the players understood each other so well. And I'm not taking anything away from Lucho. He was an excellent manager, and like his desire and hunger, you could just see it, and his passion. But I feel like Valverde has just done a lot more in terms of the youth, and I feel like if he did win a treble this season, I feel like that would just solidify it, you know, as his obviously not taking nothing away from Lucho. He was amazing, but I feel like if Valverde wins a treble, then you gotta give it to him.
Yeah, I agree. And I've said this before, and I'll gladly say it again. Valverde is not as bad as most of these people make him look like. You know, a lot of people will just trash him left and right. Like, you know, hey man, you should play Coutinho more. And he plays Coutinho like, yo, why did you play Coutinho, you trash ass man? And it's like, the thing is, I feel like people have not gotten over Rome yet. And that's fair. You know, that's fair. That really was a low point in our season. But I feel like a lot of people neglect what he's actually managed to do with this squad. You gotta remember, this is the same manager who almost won the league unbeaten with the likes of Andre Gomes and Paulinho. I love Paulinho, but he's not a Barca midfielder. And Yeremina, Luca Digne, and those types of players in our squad. Some of them almost starters. He won the league with those players, almost unbeaten. That's not easy to do. I don't care who you are. That's not easy to do, especially not in La Liga, where the competition is getting more and more. It's getting more and more tight. You know, teams that wouldn't trouble Barca like 6-7 years ago are teams that are beating Barca at home, and not just Barca, but for any team. You know, it's not easy, man. A thing that I really wanna praise him for as well is the fact that his man management has definitely become better since Rome. You can see that with how he's handled Ousmane Dembele, how he's given him confidence, how he's still playing Coutinho, even though he's had a dip in form. But for me, he's slowly getting back up. He's slowly actually, you know, finding his form, finding a rhythm, kind of getting a role in the team again. You know, and he's played Riqui Puig. He's played a lot of the B team players in the Copa.
A lot of them.
He's played them in the Copa. He's played them in the Supercopa de Catalunya that we played a while back against Girona. And he's clearly using the youth players. And yes, sometimes you'll be like, hey man, why is he not playing Carlos Alenia? And that's a decision you got to take as a manager. As a manager, I think by now everyone knows he's very pragmatic. He's a conservative manager. He likes his defensive football. He likes his defensive stability. And you also got to give him credit for that, because while it doesn't suit our playing style, it's definitely made our defense way more solid than it was just a year ago. The way he's
100%.
used Clement Longley, the way he's used Semedo now to actually push Roberto. While he does have some faults, I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying he's the ideal Barca manager, but what I'm saying is he gets too much slack considering what he actually does, because the way he's handled these players is actually really, really good. The way he's handled these players as people, and we saw that with Lucho, with Alba. He, even in the national team after Lucho took over the national team, even then there still was that feud between them. And having arguably one of the best left backs in the world, having feud between you and him, that's not a good thing at all.
True.
And just his man management is good. There's a reason why a lot of the players love him as much as they do and praise him as much as they do, because he's genuinely a good manager. But I will say I don't agree with his usage of Rakitic, because he uses him way too much as a player.
Over.
Yeah, like he's over 30 years old. He's gonna fucking die on the pitch soon if you keep playing him like that. Because that's the thing too. Like, I get that he's vital for how, in Valverde's eyes, he's a vital player to the system. But at the same time, you also gotta use that right. Because if you see Rakitic after he's been rested and Rakitic just throughout the season, there's a big difference, because he's way better when he's actually gotten rest.
Definitely.
And I feel like that's the thing that Valverde neglects. Like, he's played Rakitic in games where Messi has been on the bench. Rakitic is not that vital to our system. And also, like, You have Boateng, who I think we should use more often. I get that he's not the best striker option we could have got. I would have personally preferred Christian Stuani, but use him, man. We have him on loan for half a year. Use him. Use Jason Murillo. He's leaving in the summer too. We're not paying their wages to just be here,
Yeah.
I mean, they're quality. They are quality players. And just if let's say Suarez needs to rest, use Boateng. Even Malcolm. Malcolm could be decent up front as well. So
yeah, I was gonna talk about that.
Yeah, so like there are players where I feel like he could use them better, but his man management overall has certainly improved since Rome. And if he wins the treble, I would maybe go as far as say even now you could make a very strong case for that he is better than Lucho, considering how they managed the team. Because as you said, that he relied heavily on MSN, which is not. I think any manager in the world would do that when you have that strong a striking force. But at the same time, he didn't have as strong a midfield and a stronger defense that we do now. And I feel like now the team is more complete. So that's something I want to give Valverde credit for.
Definitely.
So to answer the question, yes, he would be.
In short, yes.
In short, yes. Did you have anything you want to add to that?
I mean, I was just going to talk about, obviously, I'm definitely not a Valverde hater at all. In fact, I've credited him a lot.
Yeah.
The only few things is, for example, the Malcolm thing, I can't wrap my head around it. Like, just use the guy. I just feel bad for him, just seeing him just constantly left out. And he's barely had any playing time. Like, it's like he's been, I don't even know, it's random. One thing I would say though, and I'm not sure if clubs do this, but is there, and I'll ask you,
yeah,
can there be terms in a contract, like, for example, minimum amount of minutes played, so that this player will have to play this amount of minutes? I don't
think that's a part of that can be a part of a contract, but I do know that there is a part of a contract where it's like if he plays this in this amount of minutes, he'll get this and this much more money. You know, like the variables work
bonuses.
like that. Yeah. So those clauses can be inserted, but I don't think there's that amount because that kind of clause is very like that's basically promising him, hey man, we're gonna play this in this amount of time, and you can't really promise that to a player when he's signing for your club because you never know what happens.
Yeah, no, and so that's the only sort of excuse you could use, but we like that could not even be a real thing. So I don't know, but I just feel like he should just use Malcolm a bit more, and I think Suarez a little bit less, Rakitic definitely less. Even though he's good, I think Rakitic himself needs a break.
I agree.
And yeah, man.
Yeah,
that's all.
Cool. Speaking of Rakitic and Suarez, which players would you sell in the summer? Which players would you promote from Barca B? And you had to choose 3 players from Barca B. So.
Well, yeah, you can go.
All right. Which players I would sell in the summer? I've said this a lot, and I'll continue to say this. I don't dislike Rakitic. All right. I wanna set the record straight. I don't dislike him. I don't hate the guy. I don't despise him. But I do think if he wants to move on, and if we want to make some good money, he is certainly one that could bring us that money because he is a quality player. But the only problem I have with him is that now next season we're getting Frenkie de Jong. Riqui Puig might very well be promoted next season. You're gonna have a problem, you know, if you still have Rakitic, because he's still gonna have that starting spot, and that way you'll halt the promotion of de Jong and Riqui Puig and Carlos Alenia, and I don't think that's fair. Given Rakitic's current age, I think if he wants to try something new, now would be the time, right? Like, I know he said he loves Barcelona as much as he does. He wants to possibly retire here, but at the same time, he'll halt the progress of many of these young players coming up, and I don't think that's a good idea. You know, I think first off, if he leaves, given all the contract issues that there have been between him and the board, you know, you'd kind of have those gone. You'd have a kind of happy/unhappy player would be gone, and also that's more money that Barca can spend on other players. So I would want him out. I would not want Suarez out. I would want him as a backup though. Personally, I would love Luka Jovic to come to the club and then have Suarez as a backup, or alternate between them every other game or something, without ruining their rhythm. Who else would I sell? Rafinha, definitely. As much as I love him, he's just not going to succeed here. It's that
doesn't play.
Yeah, simple as. Who else? Gonch, definitely. Mainly because he's so happy at Everton and he fits them well, and it would just make sense, you know. It would make sense for all parties if he went to Everton. So, yeah.
I think he's just enjoying his football now, though.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I know someone will be like, why didn't you say Coutinho? Here's the thing, right? I love Coutinho, and I don't think people don't know that. I'm pretty sure everyone at this point that interacts with me about Coutinho knows how much I love the guy. I don't want him gone because I genuinely believe that he can be a big part of our future at the club. I genuinely believe that he could be part of the next era for Barca. But in order to do that, he has to... I know that the 10 role that he prefers to play is taken by Messi. But he can still be incorporated. You know, those left half spaces that I talk about so often, I've seen people say he can't play there and that role doesn't exist. You could definitely play him there as an inverted winger because Alba likes to play as a wingback essentially. And putting Coutinho as an inverted winger instead of an actual winger would give Coutinho, like, he would have the freedom to play as he likes to play. And Alba would have that wing for himself. And you could have Dembele partnering up with Semedo on the right. You know,
Yeah.
it could definitely work. And I feel like the thing is Valverde just isn't using him right. Like now he's starting to use him a bit more as he should. But there are still games where it's like recently I think he's been used right. I'll say that. Recently I think he's been used right. He just needs to kind of find his form again. But I would not want to sell him. I don't know. Like I think he would be able to rack about 100 mil if we're very, very, very lucky. And Barca have said, according to ESPN's Moises Llorens, that they would sell him if it was over a certain amount. I did tweet it. I don't remember exactly what the amount was, but I hope that he won't get sold because I do believe that he can be a big part of our future if we use him right. So that's why I did not say Coutinho.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, with
yeah.
Coutinho, the thing is, I like him a lot, and I know his talent is immense. He is a very gifted footballer, and I know that in the right form, he could be like so like influential and crucial for us. Like he could come in so clutch, like such a good player. But the thing is that it's taken so long for him to just, and he still hasn't found his footing really. I wouldn't say he has yet. So it's just, I think we're in like kind of a time now where there's a lot of impatience in football. Like you can see it with managers getting sacked like left, right, and center as well.
Yeah.
Like people just people just want results. Like they want results. Like
yeah.
And with the whole, because obviously he wants to play as a 10, and I don't really think there's been a time, and correct me if I'm wrong, where Messi has played alongside another 10 successfully. Because obviously there was Ronaldinho at the start, but then he left. Yeah. I think it was a season after. So it was like,
yeah, and even then, it could be argued that Messi played as sort of striker/winger, and not as
exactly.
an actual 10.
Exactly, and we know the whole Argentina Dybala thing apparently doesn't work. Well, we'll see if it works in the Copa America, but so far it hasn't really worked. So that could be a thing where, you know, it might just not work out. But I hope it does, and I think it still can. I think it can be incorporated, like you said, but I feel like people just won't be patient. I hope they are, but I just don't think they will.
I see you, and I agree. I think part of why people are so impatient with Coutinho, and also it has taken him a long time. I'll agree on that. But I think part of why people are so impatient with Coutinho now is because when Dembele was going through the same thing, the media slandered him left, right, and center, and now people are like, "Hey, why aren't they doing this to Coutinho? Fucking racists and all that stuff." And that's one thing too, where the media has a responsibility, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why they did as much as they did with Dembele. I don't know if it was racism, or if it was just because they didn't like him as a player, or if it was something completely different. I don't know. But the media's influence on how people think is something very, very big, and something that's very often neglected because people don't realize it until it's actually happened, right? Like, you remember how all the Dembele stuff made every fan of Barcelona on Barca Twitter stand with Dembele, right? Like, when media was bashing him, people were standing with Dembele, and so now it's like the media is defending Coutinho, and people are standing against Coutinho because the media didn't do the same to Dembele, and it's like, I kind of see their standpoint, but at the same time, it's not fair, because yes, Dembele was treated unfairly by the media, but you were patient with him. So why not be patient with Coutinho when Coutinho has proven his quality before he came to Barca? Like, he's proven his quality with Brazil. He's proven that he can play as an interior in Brazil's system. And yes, it's different from Barca's, but I still think it could work if you accommodate to his lack of defensive duties, and to how his positioning is. I feel like if you cater to that, if you pair him up with another player, he could also work as a midfielder. And it's just like, you know, why can't people be more patient with him? Valverde is patient with him for a reason, you know. If Coutinho,
Yeah, he sees the potential.
yeah, and not just that, also the fact that if Coutinho if he wasn't being impressive in training, he had no reason to pick him. That's also a thing. Like with Malcolm, as much as I love the guy and as much as I love it, I admire his dedication to come here and snub Roma and still be here. You know, and it's like if Malcolm really was impressing Valverde in practice, he would probably get more playing time. I feel like that's also a factor, you know. Like I still
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, like I still don't agree with not playing him at all. But you gotta also think that if he really was being this sick, you know, amazing player, he would probably get more playing time because that's just how it naturally works.
Yeah, I agree. We don't see training.
Exactly. Like we see small glimpses of and cuts of it, but we don't see training in its entirety. Valverde does, and that's also a reason for why he selects the players that he does select. You know, and that's also a thing. Like I won't give up on Coutinho. I will not give up on him until the club sells him, which I don't think they do. I don't think they'll sell him this summer. I hope they won't. But it all really comes down to how he plays from now until then.
Yeah, I think.
And
I think he
improving.
was just. Yeah, the last couple of matches, I've seen an improvement, and I think he'll just be sad to just sell it like after all of that, you know. And he was so excited about coming.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
I don't
He
know.
did so much. He sacrificed so much to come here, and it's, you know, I don't feel like we should chip him off. I know the whole no emotions, just business, but again, he still did a lot to come here. We did a lot to get him. We even made a deal with Liverpool that meant we would pay a premium if we wanted to buy another one of their players. And he's just going to throw that away because he's not performed in a role that doesn't actually suit his playing style. I don't think that's fair. You know,
I
because
agree.
the manager is also at fault for not playing him in a role that fits him. I'm not saying that you should change up the team to fit one player, but Coutinho can definitely get a role that fits him and the team. And Valverde has been doing that lately. He has been giving Coutinho a better role, and Coutinho has been adjusting more and more. And the game where everyone was trashing him last time, I thought he did really, really well. So I feel like now if he just keeps getting playing time, he'll become more and more consistent and slowly get his confidence back. You know, those tap in goals that he's getting, where people are like memeing him, it's like that's a huge confidence boost for a player. You know?
True. No, he is.
So I feel like people just need to be patient, man. You know, I would not sell him in the summer. I definitely wouldn't.
It's just not even worth it though, because we'll just lose out on money.
Yeah,
so from
exactly.
that point as well, it's not. But obviously, that's not the main priority. I mean, I hope it goes. Like I was so excited when he first came. Not gonna lie.
Same,
Like
man.
I thought he, obviously I didn't think it would take this long, but I still have belief. But I still have some belief.
I see you. All right. Which players would you sell in the summer?
Rakitic, because with him it's like, I think if he leaves now, then he'll just like have a solid like little legacy at Barca.
Yeah.
But if he just drags it out, then it's just like, come on, mate, when you gonna leave, like type thing. So it's just like, you know that thing. I forgot how it goes. It's like
I swear. I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
say that. Yeah.
Either die a hero
Or
or
live long
enough
enough to see yourself become the villain. Yeah. You know.
That's perfect for him.
Yeah, it really
Because
is.
you know his first season was incredible, and you know he has helped out. But I think it's just time now. You know, with all the different circumstances coming together, like we're gonna have a bit of a packed midfield as well, especially with our youth.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I think he's definitely one.
Definitely.
Like I said, I wouldn't sell. Like you said, I wouldn't sell Suarez. I keep him as like a backup.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I feel a bit harsh to sell him.
Yeah, you
Because
know.
he still does have a lot of quality, but it's just.
Yeah, and also
very inconsistent.
you know, he clearly loves and bleeds for this club. You know, I would not.
Yeah, he loves it.
I wouldn't mind at all if we bought Luka Jovic. Let's say we bought him and he became great for us, and then we keep Suarez as sort of an Ari Taduri situation at Bilbao, and kind of make him retire, or like kind of Roma did with Totti. I would not mind that at all. I would not mind Suarez retiring here, or moving to Ajax like a year before his retirement or whatever. You know,
100%.
I just don't want.
He's got a great personality.
Yeah, yeah.
For the club.
Yeah, like yeah. You know, like he's a bit of a cunt sometimes, but that's part of it. You know, that Barca knew that when they bought him, and he adds that ruthlessness to the side, even if it's just
definitely.
mentally.
It's very needed.
Yeah,
like, he's just funny as well. Like when you watch him, it's just so funny. And like so have Suarez as a mascot. And no, I'm joking. No, all right, no,
basically.
No, but I think Denis Suarez is still technically a part of the club, is he not?
He is, yeah. I would personally sell him. Personally, as much as I love him,
I think
like I used to rep him and all, but I still do love him. Yeah, I still do love him, but I think for all parties it would be best if he left because he also needs to be at a club where he can get consistent playing time, because otherwise his career will just go down the drain.
Yeah. No, man, I remember when if you made it this far, type then Instagram.
Yeah. Type then Instagram in the comments.
OG. Nah, that was
man,
like you said, I feel like it just hasn't really worked out. But I don't think he's a bad player.
No, me neither. I think
Rafinha?
Yeah. Good call.
I mean, that's just obvious, kind of. He's just, there's just some players that you just, no disrespect to them, but it hasn't worked out, you know. So.
Yeah, it just hasn't. Like I love him, but it's not gonna work out, man. It's not. And also, like, it would be different if he was clearly Barca level, and just got injured a lot. You know, like kind of like a Vermaelen situation where he might not be 100% Barca level, but he's a quality defender. So, like, when he does get back from injury, you know he'll play. With Rafinha, he gets back from injury, he'll sit on the bench.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
So I feel like he should go to a club that suits his level, so that if he does get injured and comes back, he'll have a spot, you know?
Agreed. There's no point just training, recovering just to warm the bench.
Yeah, exactly. Or not even make it to the bench. That's even worse.
And talking about Vermaelen, I feel like he put on like a really solid, display at his time, like while he was here,
Yeah, definitely. I don't recall bad games per se from him, except for the ones where he played as a left back, because that's obviously not his favorite position. But even there, he actually did decent. Like I've always liked him. He's injury prone, and basically he's a hospital. But at the same time, it's like he's a quality defender. But I would sell him to a club that could use him more than Barca can. Because we just
utilize him.
Yeah, because we just have too stacked of a team at this point. Especially if we get Matthijs de Ligt, which I do think we will. So, yeah, I feel like he should also be on his way out.
Yeah, man. I think that's all.
Yeah. Which players would we promote from Barca B? Ricky Puig is definitely up there, 100%.
Yeah, that's definite.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I'm kind of hesitant about Juan Miranda. Just because he impressed me a lot in preseason, but since then he hasn't really added much. As for Marco Correa, I like his style of play, but it's too attacking for me. Like, you can clearly see he likes playing as a winger more than he does as a left back, just because he's not as solid defensively. But Juan Miranda could be up there. Abel Ruiz is not. He's not ready yet, but yeah.
Oriol Busquets?
Huh?
What do you think? What do you think about Busquets?
Oh, Oriol. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, it all depends on how we use De Jong for me, because if we use De Jong as a DM, as a defensive midfielder, Oriol is gonna have one more competitor. Whereas if we use De Jong as a central midfielder, I would definitely want Oriol to get promoted. That could definitely be an interesting one. Definitely.
Yeah.
Because he has played really well. He has played really, really well. Whenever he's, when I've seen him, he's actually been good. And
Exactly.
Monshu could also be interesting, or even Alex Collado could definitely be interesting players as well. If I were to choose three, it would be one of those most likely. That's my take on it, at least.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, for the most part, I would agree. I would say Puig, Busquets, and it's kind of the thing is, I'm gonna be honest. I have not seen a lot of these players play.
Yeah, I see you.
Just to be honest, but from the ones I have seen, they've looked quite promising, and the ones I just named, I would really want like them to have a chance because it's just part of who we are as a club. But at the same time, we have these young midfielders that have come in that like you'd think they came from our academy, but they haven't.
Yeah,
And it's just like who are we prioritizing? It's a difficult one.
yeah, I see you. I still feel like La Masia players should have that, should be prioritized higher. But it also depends on quality, because at the end of the day, that's also what you want from your players. Like, I would, ideally, if we could play all La Masia and they were all good, I would definitely do that. If we could give all La Masia players a chance, I would do that. But you also got to be realistic and say, you got to play these players. Depends on the opponent, depends on the circumstances, and also just their quality as players and how their chemistry is with their teammates. But yeah, I definitely feel like we should give the youth players chances, and I think Ricky Puig could be a very good candidate for that. And the other players that we've mentioned, I think definitely could be interesting to have.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought he would get promoted this season.
Yeah, I actually imagined that too. But I think what they want to do is kind of give him, let him really solidify his performances. Really fine tune the edges and stuff, and then promote him. I feel like that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, next question by Lito El Messiah 10. My boy, what would be our perfect 11 for the next season, and who would be the coach? Now, ideally speaking, this is me being in dreamland. Thomas Tuchel.
Dream.
Yeah. Thomas Tuchel could be amazing for us, but he's renewing with Paris, so that's not going to happen. Our perfect 11, Ter Stegen in goal, obviously. Alba, PK, Longley, or Umtiti. Give Todibo a chance as well. Semedo as right back. Busi in midfield. Artur and De Jong. I would say,
Yeah.
that might be a bit too much of a controlling midfield, but I still feel like Artur has really good line breaking passes. De Jong also knows how to play those. De Jong is really good from, if you ask me, I think he's a really, really good player, and I feel like he could be really good in that midfield as well. Maybe play Coutinho with that midfield occasionally. Left wing, I would probably say Dembele, even though I prefer him over a right wing due to his connection with Semedo. And then Messi and Luka Jovic, if we land him up front. And if we don't land...
very good.
Yeah, thank you. If we don't land Jovic or any striker, I would like to see Malcolm up front. Because yes, he might miss chances, but he's good. His link-up play, I feel like if he actually gets to play consistently, could be really, really good.
Very true.
So
I would say, I can repeat it if you like, but of course the goalkeeper the same, defense the same. I think I would go for Umtiti over Longley, but they are both quality. Quality.
The thing is, the reason I chose Longley over Umtiti is just due to based off of their current form.
Recent.
But either of them would work as long as Umtiti is back and fit. I wouldn't mind him over Longley.
Yeah, the midfield I would keep the same, but I do really want to see more from Alenia, because I just think he's really good. From
Definitely.
the games we've seen so far this season, he's just so impressive, and I just want to see a lot more from him next season. And Valverde, that's another thing. He's been using, the youth players, and it's great to see. With the attack, I would say is difficult because we could have, imagine this, and I'm not sure if this would ever work.
Yeah.
But having Coutinho, Messi centre forward, and Dembele.
That would be sick. Would work? The thing is, I would love that, but I don't think it would work, especially if you have Messi as a false 9. Also because Messi just cannot play a false 9. Because we don't really. The thing with that is we won't really have players who run behind the defense like Suarez does.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we would miss, I feel like. And also that Coutinho and Messi might run into the same spaces. But that's also a thing, right? Like, you know, okay, we haven't had Messi and another 10 play together successfully yet. But I feel like that, obviously we don't know what happens at training 100%. But if you could somehow, like, let these two players have their free roles, but each on their side of the pitch, I feel like that could still work. You know,
I think so too. I take it back. I think we do need a solid striker.
Good call.
I think we just. I think thinking about it now, we do need a striker. And if we don't sign anyone, then Malcolm deserves a chance. Like, he actually has the quality. Like, we should definitely try and utilize him and just see where his strengths are, his weaknesses. And just go from there. I mean, with Suarez, he can be like you were talking about earlier, a really good impact sub.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Definitely. I just realized we are probably not going to be able to answer all of these questions, but we'll see how many we can answer. So, I feel like we've kind of gone through this. How can the team be propped up after Messi? Considering a dearth of players in his unique position, should we splash money for a marquee signing or try and change the existing tactical engine that has been built around him? Also, who would you consider the best guy to do it? This is by Ricky Sombrero, Pujician, the guy that made the 8K picture that I posted today. He also made the 7K picture. So he's making all of the milestone pictures for me as well.
Big up to that guy, man.
Yeah,
he's a G.
He really is. I really appreciate you, man. If you're watching this, which I know you will be. So, the best guy to do it for me, either Coutinho or Dembele, and most likely the latter. I feel like Coutinho could do the playmaking part of Messi's role. But the thing with Dembele is he's such a good finisher as well.
Yeah.
And he would be able to pull that off, I think. Either him or Dembele. And I don't think we would need to splash money for a big signing, because I feel like if we can really fit Coutinho in, I feel like you could have him and Dembele have that role and alternate, and I think we would be good. Honestly, I genuinely think we would be fine without another big signing. You know, obviously also considering that we buy a proper striker that is young and has the energy to run 90 minutes without halting halfway through. So, that being said, I think Coutinho or Dembele could fill Messi's void. Not nearly as good because he is Messi, but I feel like those two, if you fit them in properly, would be able to do that together.
Yeah. I pretty much agree. I mean, the thing is, I think towards the latter years of Messi's career, I think we're going to see him drop even more and more further deeper, maybe even into the midfield. So,
yeah,
I feel like, I'm not sure when he will retire, but I'm going to guess within the next 5 years. Like, that's reasonable, maybe even sooner. But I mean, feel like obviously, no one's obviously going to be as good as him. But in terms of filling that role, I think Coutinho, if he does pick up his form and obviously doesn't get sold and things go well, I think he could fill that type of creative, that type of role. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Watch when people on Twitter be like, guess what? DPHD and Omar said that Coutinho is as good as Messi.
Yeah. Oh man, I would not even be surprised. Nah. If De Ligt comes, how would he fit? Starter or reserve? By the Portuguese Cole, one of my really good friends. I do think that he would be a reserve to begin with and slowly turn into a starter. He's so freaking young, dude. He's like 19 or 20. I don't think he's 20 yet. I know he was 19 throughout last season, so he might become.
No, he's still 19. I'm pretty.
He's still 19. Yeah. He is. So he's still 19 years old. I think he would be a reserve, and then be a certified, like 100% starter when PK starts to slow down. Because his playing style is reminiscent of PK's, and that's also why I would love for him to come here, because he's the clear, like he's the clear guy to take over. You know, he's the only player we could be like, okay, this guy is our next PK. You know, his heart, his desire, his dedication. You know, he's a captain for Ajax at 19. That says a lot.
That is crazy.
That's
insane.
On its own. That's amazing, man. He clearly loves Barca, so I do think he will come. But yeah, I think he'd be a reserve to begin with, and then slowly make his way in and become a starter, because he's a genuinely great defender. I know he didn't show it today. He didn't have the best display today, but he's definitely quality. And I do hope and think that he will end up here. So that's my take on it.
Yeah. Nothing much to add to that, except from shout out to that guy, because he's a nice guy. And yeah, no, I completely agree. Good quality, young. He's already captain. I mean, it speaks for itself. So just can't wait to see him here. He should come.
Yeah, I see you. All right, Beto the fraud. I love you, man. So he says, thoughts on Messi possibly playing as a false nine. We've already talked about that, but he says focus on the team itself, not on Messi. For example, Suarez on the left. I don't really see how you would focus
Suarez on the left.
For example, the thing is, Suarez could work well on the left or on the right, not as a winger as such, but you know, his positioning be there, like as a striker, but as a left forward kind of.
Yeah.
So I feel like
I was gonna say we do not want a winger Suarez. That's not what
no. Winger Suarez, damn, nah, bro. He'll get spun right back to Liverpool by some right back. That's not gonna happen. No, I would not like Messi as a false nine. I don't know. I mean, if we have Suarez making the runs through, I guess it would be kind of similar to what we have now. So I don't really see the big change. Because if you have Suarez on the left, he'll essentially be playing as a left forward. Because he's not fast enough to be playing as a winger. Definitely not. His technique has slowed down. So I think it would be similar, given the, like, if we're being realistic. I think it would be fairly similar to what we have now. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that no matter where Messi plays, he sort of drifts into the middle anyway.
Yeah.
So like, we can put him where we want, but realistically, he's always going to sort of come into the focus of the team. And I think him and the striker, they will sort of always be in the middle together. So it's almost like a left wing, right wing type thing.
Yeah.
And then what I think is, we just need to either land buy a new striker, which will have a bit more pace than Suarez does, and then Messi sort of being the more creative and trying to assist and etc.
Yeah, I see.
And then obviously we'll have the finisher, the pacey guy, and I feel like that dynamic will work well. Obviously the dynamic at the moment is that Suarez sort of lacks a little bit of not physicality, no, he does not like that, but he lacks a little bit of like a little bit of like pace and fitness. But yeah, if that kind of, I don't know if that answers it, but Messi always drifts in the middle, so it's like we can't really stop that, and it's a good thing because it sort of like controls the attack. And alongside a good striker, I'm not saying Suarez is bad, but I mean like a
consistent pacey.
Yeah. That would be great.
Yeah, I see you. So, alright. A question that we got later, but that I really, really want to answer, is by my boy Ronnie. What will you guys do in life for the future? Shout
out to him. He is a real G.
Yeah, man. Honestly, if you're listening, you're like a brother to me, like straight up. And you know that.
Straight up.
So, I really want to answer this question. But he says, Like, for example, will you start doing YouTube as your job if you get more famous than you already are? And how long do I plan on doing this YouTube/news thing? This website/news thing, sorry. And my thing with this is I absolutely love doing this. I do this because of how passionate I am towards this, because of how dedicated I am towards this, and because I feel like I can bring something positive to this community, and also I aspire to be known as the most reliable news source, but also be me as a person, you know. And that's what I'm really happy with, is that people don't just see me as a news account; they see me as me, who has a news account, and that's kind of what I want to keep going with. I could definitely see this becoming a long-term thing, becoming a project, a big brand. That's kind of what I'm going for with all of this. That is what I'm going for with all of this. I do want to make this a big brand. I do want to have this, like, let's say 10 years into the future, I want this to be an established thing. You know, I would not mind that at all. So for me, what I'm doing right now is something I want to keep doing long term. On Twitter, on the website, you know, all that stuff. I want to keep doing this for many, many years to come. And I do see this as a long-term thing. Now, obviously, what I'm studying at uni now has first priority for me, even as a full-time job. So I would probably be running this simultaneously as a part-time thing. But, you know, who knows? If this blows up, like legit blows up and starts, you know, establishing itself as a thing. I don't know how. You know, maybe this would be my full-time thing. That's a very interesting question, I have to say. But for now, I'm planning on doing this long-term, definitely.
That is, yeah, man. For me, it's like, I think first and foremost, I consider myself an editor, if that makes sense. So it's like, I really like the whole thing that I like is, obviously I like showing Messi, but I also really like the filmmaking side of it, and just I have a good passion for all of that, and then through this I can just express that.
Yeah.
So as long as this keeps going, I'll keep going, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not just gonna randomly just in 2 years just stop. Like, if this is progressing the way I want it, and everything that I've planned out in my head is just going out smoothly, etc. And obviously there's going to be like bumps, like there's going to be like a 2-month period where my channel, I don't know, might get no views, but that type of thing won't demotivate me, because I always look at the long term.
Yeah.
And so I just think, why would I stop this? And if it gets to a point in my life where I'm too busy for it, I will literally hire a team to carry this on for me, because I can never like give it up. But I don't think I would get to a point where I'm too busy for it, if you know what I mean. Editing is a big passion of mine. Messi is a big, Barcelona as well.
Yeah.
And I just enjoy it. So if it got to a point where it was paying me regularly, then I would definitely do it as my source of income, whilst also pursuing other things that I like. But in terms of just my work, I would gladly, like, anyone would gladly keep this as like YouTube as their job. It's a dream, right? So it's like, yeah, I just appreciate the support, and everything's been going great, you know, for both of us.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I would love to have this thing going for as long as I can. And I don't think it would get to a point, really, where I would be like, I don't have time for Twitter, or I don't have time to, you know, keep you guys updated with news or whatever. I don't think it would get to that point. And I don't think it would get to a point either where I'm like, man, this is boring. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't think that, I feel like that won't ever come also because of the support that I get from you guys. Because that support is fucking motivating. Like, straight up. It's so motivating. And not just from a work, quote-unquote work perspective, but also as a person. Like, first thing I do when I wake up is check Twitter. And I still have notifications on. So it's like, I'll wake up with like 50, 60, 70 notifications. And
That is crazy. That
yeah,
is crazy.
it makes my day, man. Like, straight up. And that's why I feel like I would never leave Twitter. And if I do, it would probably be to put more effort into the website or into this as a news source, right? That's kind of what I want. Because, like, I have, for many years, I have aspired to become a journalist, right? And I tried doing that, and it worked out well, but I didn't like how it worked out. Like, I didn't like it worked out well, but I didn't like working with those kinds of people. I didn't like having a boss constantly being like, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. No, you have to do it this way. And it's like, no, I want to control what I do the way I do it. And I didn't, in any way, when I started Twitter, I did not plan on making news, like writing news and reporting news. And I did not plan on that at all. But it just kind of happened. And as I was doing it, I was kind of realizing that, hey, man, I'm actually fulfilling a dream of mine. You know?
Literally.
And as much as I don't view myself as a journalist, because that word is so fucking overused. Like, you'll see a guy just be like, yo, I'm a journalist. Like, yeah, what do you do? Report fake news. Like, you don't, you know, and it's like, I see so many, like, no, look, I have massive respect for a lot of journalists and a lot of newspapers, but there are also a lot of people who claim to be journalists who do nothing and just report fake news with no credibility, no fact-checking, no research, and just kind of report it. And, you know, because it's what people want to hear, they gain a following off of it. And that's something I dislike, you know, and that's why I'm really happy with what I'm doing here, because I do it the way I want to do it, and I get the support that is not just on a one-to-one work /word level, but also on a personal level.
Yeah,
that's why I definitely view this as a long-term thing. And, you know, again, as you were saying, if it gets me money as like a stable thing, you know, I might very much consider doing it full time. You know, at that point, I would still have my education to fall back on in case this fails. So it's not like I would have wasted anything. But
that's very sensible.
I absolutely love this. I have such a strong passion for this, and you know, it's beautiful, man. I love it. I love it. I don't think I would ever give up on it. I would not give up on it. Willingly.
I mean, just to add on that, I mean, when we're at like the 56th minute mark and we're like flipping comment baguettes if you made it this far, and people actually comment, like, that shit is crazy to me. Like, that's the type of stuff that is just like, people, I've gotten to a stage where like people are listening to us talk for like an hour and they're literally just sticking around. Like, that shit is insane. Like, I'll never like get over that. Because the thing is, I was once a fan of these channels, and like I was once that guy in the comments, like, you know, like interacting and supporting, and like now it's just us. Do you know what I mean?
We get the support, man.
Yeah, we completely understand it. We're not like on our high horse or nothing. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Definitely, and it's just a great thing. One thing I will add as well, my channel is different because obviously there's a lot of copyright issues.
Yeah.
And copyright, it's not, I don't think it's getting easier. I think it's getting much worse. There was this new thing that YouTube were talking about, this new copy. They were going to try and ban memes or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, the section, what's it called?
Yeah, like that's extreme.
Not section 13, something. Yeah,
something like that.
The whole EU ban, yeah.
And I saw channels saying they were getting demonetized, like editing channels, and thankfully it hasn't happened to me, but that is a big, like, that's a big possibility, and that could really be sort of the end of my channel, if you know what I mean. Not because I'm doing it for money, but because they could block all of my videos and I could have my channel terminated. That happened to one of a big channel back in the day, Hale, something like Hale RJ. He was a massive channel.
Oh, wait, that happened to him?
Yeah, he had to restart.
Damn. Bro, I loved his videos, man. Damn, that sucks.
What he had to do, he was getting copyright strikes to the point where he would have to the point where his channel would have got deleted So what he cleverly did is he quickly sold it, and so his massive channel just got sold to a random company, and then he just started making videos on his second account. Yeah, but his videos used to get like 20 million. Like, do you remember Ronaldinho versus Messi, the king of Barcelona?
I think, yeah.
Do you remember that? Yeah, it had like 20 million hits or some shit. It was crazy. But what I'm saying is, I think Omar's channel is more secure than mine based off of the type of videos we do.
Definitely.
I'm not gonna let that demotivate me, and I'm gonna keep going. But if it comes to a point where I have to stop, I'm just gonna hold up my hands and say, like, I enjoyed the ride. Like, up until this point, it was amazing, but I just have to stop now, and that's out of my hands. So
I see it. Now, I hope, and I hope it won't come to that point, and I don't think it will come to that point either, because as much as YouTube are this big corporation, you know, they are still human beings at the end of the day. You know, you can request manual reviews and stuff, and I know that YouTube sometimes are just being total bitches about that, but there are times where they're like, okay, you know what, you're actually right, you did not infringe copyright, this is transformative content. So I feel like from that point, I feel like you would be safe, and I really hope you would. No problem, bro. And again, and this is one thing I've said on Twitter, and I want to say it again, I'm really enjoying and I'm really loving that we're actually doing this together, you know? This podcast, 2 different types of channels collaborating from across the fucking continent.
Definitely, man.
You know, so cool. It's sick. And it's just so nice to have someone, you know, with you on the journey. And I think you feel the same way too, right? Like, someone you can always, like, you know, hey man, what's up? I need this and that.
Yeah, man.
You know, just kind of be there for each other as friends, and also just if something happens.
100%, man. And, you know, we both get each other, like, partners in crime type thing. It's just like, we're just on the ride together, and it's just sick, man. And, you know, you've helped me a lot, like, in terms of just with, even with just, you know, looking at you for, like, inspiration, and just, you know, getting on the podcast and sort of coming outside of the editor, like, comfort zone type thing. And I hope I've helped you a lot and just continue to grow, man.
Man, that seriously means a lot. Yeah, you definitely have. I mean, the way you go about things, your dedication towards YouTube also pushes me, obviously positively. And you know, just you being as great a friend as you are to me is amazing. You know, just have someone that, you know, he's always got your back, you've always got his. You can't buy that, man.
Definitely. Real shit, man.
For real.
We're going deep in this one. We're going deep in this one.
For real. Alright,
I would say this is probably our best one so far.
I agree. We've gone through a lot of things. We've gone deep. We've also gone pretty footballish. I think this is a really, really good balanced podcast. Yeah, I think this is our best one so far.
For sure, man.
Okay, let's end it on a positive note. First off, I want to apologize to everyone who asked these questions that we did not answer to. We will try to answer them in our next podcast. So we'll kind of have it as an ongoing thing until we've answered all the questions, and then we'll answer some new ones. So, let's end it on a positive note by my boy Jesse. I know your name isn't Jesse, but I don't give a fuck, alright?
We're going to keep calling you that.
Yeah. Griezmann Chief, would you rather get unlimited free baguettes forever or get unlimited free croissants forever?
That is not a question. That's just not. It's just not. It's not. It's just like, come on, like, we both know the answer to that.
I would take baguettes every fucking day, dude.
Thank you, man.
They're more creative in midfield, man. You gotta know.
They're more creative. That shit became iconic, and it's iconic for a reason, because they are more creative in midfield.
Exactly. Bro, honestly, we should try and find, like... Okay. So, one of my favorite stand-up comedians, Chris D'Elia, he's seen some of my tweets, he's seen my support, he's actually replied to me. He's one of my inspirations. Yeah. He's one of my inspirations to make these podcasts. I absolutely love what he does as a comedian, and he does podcasts every week, and they inspire me to do these. So if by any chance he's reading this, or seeing this, thank you. Anyways, what I was getting at was, he has this, like, name that he calls his viewers, So the people that come onto the podcast, he kind of has this whole thing where he calls them, they're his babies. So
Okay.
I feel I feel like we should have not that, but I feel like we should have something to address you guys by,
Okay.
So it's kind of exclusive,
Yeah, I feel.
bring a whole family-ish feeling to this podcast. So if you guys have any suggestions, drop them down below. If you're still watching, probably a bit too late to say that now, but
Yeah.
it would be.
And if you don't suggest anything, we'll just start calling you baguettes. So.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty good.
Yeah. Hello, baguettes. Welcome back to another.
Welcome to the podcast, baguettes. I would love that.
Thing is with croissants, they're just inconsistent.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. They're very inconsistent. They're just poachers too. When it really comes down to it. Yeah, tap-in merchants. All right, that was fun. This was a really funny podcast, man. I enjoyed it.
I know, man.
I will try to edit it tonight, though I cannot promise it because I gotta be up in 8-ish hours. So it's probably going up tomorrow. Anywho, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your amazing, fantastic support. It's really, really, really appreciated. I hope you guys will tune in to watch this because it's been a while, but we really enjoy making these, and we hope you guys enjoy listening to these as much as we enjoy making them. So,
definitely.
Yeah. Any final words?
Thank you for having me, and thanks to everyone for sure, man. Thanks for everyone just tuning in, supporting, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we enjoyed recording it.
Yeah. Again, of course, you're welcome. Thank you for having me at this point. I feel like it's just a given because this is kind of our thing now. So you'll have me next week, and yeah. By the way, should we try and actually do these weekly? Because I feel like we could do it now. I mean, at least I know I have more time now.
Definitely, no, same. I think I'm getting much better as well with just organizing and planning.
That's
schedules.
Really good to hear, bro. That's really good to hear. So yeah, let's All right, guys. This time, legit, we are aiming to do these weekly.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Yeah, I hit 8K. Thank you for that. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that I wanted to talk about that I forgot. The website, your guys' wallpapers are coming up very, very soon. But because you guys have so great edits, I have to actually really pick out some of them because I can't obviously have I can't have a hella edits on my website. But I will pick out some of them. Thank you to everyone who actually sent them in, and keep doing your great work. That's just the reason I'm saying this is because I've promised that I would do it for a while now, but I want to do it justice because a lot of these edits are fucking amazing. All you guys' edits are fucking amazing. So I don't want to just pick some and then leave some that are really good when I didn't actually leave them but just had to rush it. So that's why it's been taking so long. I will try and do more articles when something happens. I'll be using the pictures, the designs that I made. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're still listening, remember that baguettes are more creative in midfield and forever will be. And yeah, guys.
Croissants are inconsistent.
Croissants are tap-in merchants and inconsistent as hell. So yeah, guys. On that note, we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching and peace out.
See ya.
That was sick.
That was definitely the best one by far, man. It just felt so it flowed. Everything was so good about it.